We flipped a coin, okay? You and me. You and me. Coin flip is sacred.
Y'all ready for a show today, baby? Showtime, baby. We've been waiting all week for this. This is where it happens right here, man. We man up, we stand up. We man up, we stand up. We all we got. We all we need. We all we got. We all we need. We all we got. We all we need.
Hit anything that moves. We're playmakers, man. We advance, nothing less.
You don't like this? Trust me, you don't like it.
We're between the white lines. This is football. Welcome to the big league. I won the toss. I took the football. Drive it down that throat.
Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your skull?
Hey, every season is full of defining moments. Let's make this day a defining moment for us in our quest.
Welcome, everybody, to Week 10 of the 2022 NFL season. It is a very early Friday morning for me. Happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans out there. Thank you for your service and sacrifice in giving us this great freedom in this great country we live in today. From all the Gups Corner team, we appreciate it. Hope you have a wonderful Veterans Day. Very early here, we have, let's see, I think Tuesday night or Wednesday night, it was 80 degrees, and it is like, the feel like outside this morning is 26. So this cold front is actually going to be hitting the PGA event here tonight. I don't know if it'll get as cold as it is here, but it's definitely going to drop and be chilly over the weekend for those guys. Round one should wrap up here in a little bit. They did not get it all in before daylight. And then on to round two. Got some, so far, pretty good start for the core plays this week. Hopefully that goes on. We hit another winner last night in NFL with the under 43. I gave that out a couple days ago. Going into this week on a 23-8-2 and run. 2-2 in college football, 1-0 in NFL, 1-0 in PGA. So 4-2 added to that, and we're on a good little streak there. We'll keep it going. So if you like other stuff outside of NFL, I got put on my plays on the site. We're on a good run. Hopefully we get a good PGA week, maybe get a little sweat going with the outright, and see how we finish up there. But you guys are here for NFL, so let's go going on that. Right now, you can join us, though, if you want to check the bets out. We got a big UFC card this weekend. We got college football tonight, NFL this weekend, college football tomorrow, NBA nightly, all kinds of stuff going on. Right now and through the end of Thanksgiving week, so probably to that Monday after, you can use Black 30 and get 30% off any package locked in for life, includes a 7-day risk-free trial. So use that code, you get 30% off. If you want to start weekly, monthly, and then upgrade later, you still get that 30% off as long as you remain a member. If you have any questions, reach out to me on Twitter or email me at support@gupscorner.com, and I can walk you through it. You can take any package, content analysis, which is all of our content posted on the site, or the full site membership, which includes all of our tools, the Green Machine, lineup generator, and we will be debuting our new golf tools right around the start of the January season for PGA. Rate and review us on iTunes. I'll be doing giveaways that same week. Probably do them Tuesday or Wednesday before. Probably do them on this pod. I'll try to do this pod early that week, especially with Thanksgiving Day slate. Maybe do 2 pods that week for NFL because we only have one more week of PGA before we take a little break there. But I'll be doing giveaways all week long for free. So rate and review us on iTunes. That gets you in the drawing. Subscribe to us on YouTube. That gets you in the drawing. And then in any comment or in any video, when you leave the comments, that gets you into the drawing as well. This week, tell me who your favorite running back is, 7K or higher, and that'll get you into those drawings. Apologize for not getting the pod out last week, but it was just so busy. I got a busy day today again, but was able to sneak this in this morning. First one I missed all year, so we just kept it in-house last week. Still got all the content out for the premium members, but had to pass on the pod. But we are back. Let's get into it. We'll start with the weather. The only one that maybe has a potential could see some wind. We'll get to that, probably closer to Sunday. But really, the only thing I'd see is it's going to be very, very cold in lots of places. and potential for some snow flurries, snow showers for the Minnesota at Buffalo game. Something to keep an eye on. We'll talk about that. The wind doesn't look horrible. I'd be more concerned about wind than I would snow. Obviously, a dome team going out in the cold maybe could have some concern there as well. Detroit, no snow or anything there, but they're going to Chicago, going to be 34, maybe some wind. So, again, potential, down, but, I'm not high on the Lions this week either. Kansas City game, going to be, like I said, we just had this major cold front come through. They're going to be 35, 36 degrees. So some cold football this weekend, but the only one that may have, we'll just see how much snow winds up coming, is the Buffalo to me. Ownership-wise, last night did the update. Got two games kind of high, one really high, the Chiefs and Jaguars. And then Denver, Tennessee, that's the second highest. Giants, Texans, third highest. Steelers, Saints, fourth highest. And then it's pretty flat after that. Buffalo, Minnesota right now is one of the lower, probably for a reason. And then Colts, Raiders is another spot where we could take advantage of some low ownership if you happen to like something there. I'll do the typical playbook here: plays, fades, values. My favorite stacks, main and mini. My two favorite contest lines, my upset of the week, survivor of the week if you're still around, and that, good for you. You got some sweat going if you're still around. Those things got destroyed pretty early. I got kicked out a couple weeks ago, but hopefully you're still in that. And then some prize pick and underdog plays for the week. 10-game slate on Sunday. There's a Germany game Sunday morning, Seahawks and Bucks, if you want to get a little showdown action early. The buys this week are the Bengals, Jets, Patriots, and Ravens. Philly is an 11-point home favorite. Chiefs flirting with a 10-point home favorite. Those are the two big home favorites. There's only two road favorites this week. So we saw how that went last night as well, with the Falcons losing as a road favorite to the Panthers. And then we just went through ownership. So let's get the playbook. I like Mahomes this week. I'm normally not. I don't know if I'll pay up at all, but if I'm going to, he's the one I'm going to go to. Josh Allen, we'll see how that shakes out today. I'll probably know a lot more today. Could be a true game time decision, but if I'm going to go up this high, I'll probably just go to Mahomes. He'll probably be decently owned, but we know it gets spread out at quarterback, so you're talking 12, 13%. I just think they got things clicking right now. It could be a good home win for them. 7,900 isn't too bad. I think there's some value on the slate right now that, because if you go Mahomes and you want to stack, Juju or Hardman and then, of course, Kelsey, you're paying up there, which really hasn't been the go-to. Most times been kind of maybe pay up at Allen and all that, but it really depends on the running backs, because that's why I posed the question, who's your 7K or higher. DK finally priced some guys out of that 6K range, because it's just been – everybody's been living in it. I mean, the 6K running backs have just been killing and allowing you to pay up. This week, we got, I think I counted 9 running backs that are 7,000 or higher, hence the question that I put out there. So if you want to pay up at running back, you're going to have to go cheap, which would put some of that cheaper quarterback combos a little high owned, I believe. So I think Mahomes may not get as high as what some think as far as ownership. It could be a good pivot this week and then try to find the value at either wide receiver or running back to get those stacks going. Had a lot of Fields last week. It did well. I talked about him in the premium content that I did like him a lot. Obviously didn't see that kind of game coming. Had Mixon written up in the core plays as well. So good DFS week overall. Fields is going to garner the ownership, not only because of last week, but they're playing Detroit, right? And I know we got the Detroit, kind of went up against Green Bay. Who knows what's going on with Green Bay, but they're still not that great of a defense. And Field can do so much with his legs at 6,500. He's probably going to be the highest owned on the slate. So that's what we're going to have to decide. And then coupled with that is how many people are going to just play him naked because of the rushing. And maybe the way you get different is maybe it's a one-man, you just go Claypool, or you go Mooney, or you go Kmet, or you do a 2-stack, which I don't think would be very popular, to go Fields, Mooney, Kmet, Fields, Claypool, Kmet, Fields, Mooney, Claypool, something like that, to get different if you're going to go in there at what'll be probably the highest owned quarterback at 6,500 this week. Some value plays, obviously, if Josh Allen's out, Case Keenum, I think, is in play. We know he's a solid backup quarterback. Have to watch that weather. Maybe that keeps people off of him, but, I think they're still going to try to throw the ball. I know it's going to be cold, little flurries, but, you still got Diggs, you got Davis, so I don't mind the Keenum play. It'll be interesting to kind of get the vibes if people just go, I don't want the backup. It's going to be cold. It's going to be snow flurries. They're going to run the ball, whatever. The good thing about it is, he can throw it to Diggs and those guys on short passes, and those guys can take it to the house. I mean, they got that kind of talent. So, or out of the backfield. You got Nyheim Hines there now. So I don't mind that at all. We'll see if he winds up playing. I don't think Allen plays personally, especially with the weather and all that. Let him rest a week. It's not that big of a deal, but we'll see. In Vegas, based on the line, I think it opened up at 9. It's down to 3.5. I don't think they think he plays either. So Keenum's on the radar. Brissett is a guy I like this week. Miami's defense is not great. And I think the only worry would be you got a cold weather team up north. Miami's going to be hot on Saturday, Sunday, and humid. That storm just moved out. I think I saw last night when I was doing research, like 84 with 69, 70% humidity. So it's going to be steamy there. Maybe they like that. I don't mind that. But at $5,400, again, and not really that high ownership I don't have right now. If you wanted to pay up at running backs, he's a good person. I don't mind Cooper, Peoples-Jones. I'll talk about a little bit later. In Njoku. So I think he's got some options. I think it could be a good shootout game, a good game environment, one of the highest totals on the slate. Actually, the second highest behind the Chiefs and Jaguars, but a much closer line. So you got a 3.5 point line instead of 9.5. So I like Brissett this week. Good option. I like Daniel Jones. A couple weeks ago, I liked him a lot when he went off, had a good rushing game. 5,700 could be a good pivot and pay down from Fields. At home against Houston, I don't mind that at all. So Daniel Jones, you could play him naked. Another wide receiver struggle at times. You can play with Barkley. Barkley's probably going to catch some balls out of the backfield. You could combo him up too. So he's a guy you could get to, especially if you want to pay up for the running backs this week. So between Keenum, Brissett, Jones, and Fields, that's probably where I'm going to be living. I don't know that if I get to Mahomes, but again, if I'm going to pay up, that's where I want to be. My fade this week would be Allen. If he plays, I don't want Allen. I'll play Case for cheap, but I don't want Allen. If Allen doesn't play, my next probably fade would be Tua. Love that game, but I think I'd rather go Brissett side of it, lower owned, cheaper, than try to match him up with Tua, because I think the wide receivers can get there, or a one-off with Waddle, Hill, and not play Tua. We've seen that a couple times this year. Now, he can go off for sure, but I think you're getting half the ownership for Brissett, and I'd rather go there. Running back, favorite plays. He was a guy I did like last week as well. Travis Etienne. I'll go back there against Kansas City. Not as strong. Price went up, so I think maybe not many people go there. They're on the road, playing the Chiefs, all that kind of stuff, but I still like him. I think he's going to get so much usage. He's great out of the backfield, catching the ball, all that stuff. Lawrence likes to look for him. 7,100 is not that bad when you look at the guys. Normally it would have been like, oh, you got the cheap guys, but you don't have that this week, really. There's a few, and people are going to go there still. But there's a lot of pay-up options. So he's one of the cheaper he is the cheapest, 7,000 or higher, and probably my favorite in that range, all things given. I like Cook, especially if people are just going to stay away from that game. Right now I got him around 4 or 5%, $8,000. I think he can play fine in the cold weather. So pound the rock, probably what they're going to try to do between both the running backs. I think Madison could get some carries too, but I think Cook could have a really big game, low ownership. Yeah, you got to pay up for him, but it's a good environment, a good game script if you're thinking that way. That, great leverage to the field at $8,000. I like a Detroit running back. We just got to wait till Saturday, Sunday. Is Swift going to get more involved, getting healthier and healthier? If we don't think that, Jamal Williams, 5,900, I think is a great play. If they both seem like they're going to split time, maybe not as high on them. But I don't mind running a mini Chicago stack back with either Williams or Swift, whichever one you think could be the majority there. I think the industry right now thinks it's going to be Williams. Good price, probably higher owned. But we'll get to that in the premium content. But I think those two guys are in play as well. Some value plays. I like Chubb. Remember, value can be ownership or price. He's 8,100, but he's going to be low owned, maybe even lower owned than Cook. So talking about that 4% range, we've been on him a couple times when he was low owned up there. No one wants to play him. Could be a good, because that's going to be a pretty popular game to get stacks in. He could be a good play in one of those stacks to be different. Mosert's, I think the price is great, 6,100. I do think people will get a little worried of what Jeff Wilson role will be in there. But at that price, I think he can still get there. I think he's still going to be the guy. Wilson's just there to kind of, I think they want to make a push for the playoffs, keep their guys healthy. I don't mind sticking with Mosert's at $6,100, and I got him around 4 or 5%. Montgomery, I think, could be a good play this week. I know Herbert. I just lost the back of Herbert. That's right, Khalil Herbert. Is getting more and more involved at times. It's against Detroit, $6,000. I'll take some Montgomery at that price and the ownership discount as well. Right now, it seems like Dameon Pierce is going to be the chalk of the week, and he would be the one I fade off of. I mean, he's great. He's good. Houston was competitive to an extent against Philly, but Houston on the road up in New York, going to be colder. If he's going to be a chalky $6,300 running back, I'll go elsewhere this week. I'll play Mozart for $200 cheaper. Montgomery, $300 cheaper and way less ownership. So he's the guy I don't want to be on right now. Wide receivers, I like Olave. Going to stick there. Pittsburgh secondary, not great. One of the worst. Now they do potentially get back Watt, which will help the pass rush, and we know Dalton can struggle there. But I don't mind going to Olave, $6,800. He just can get peppered with targets like he has been. Hopkins, same deal. He just gets tons of targets every week from Kyler. They're on the road at the Rams, and the Rams seem to own them, but I don't think many are going to pay up too much at wide receivers. My top rated top 10 wide receivers, I have none of them over 10%. And it's because they're 9,100, 9,000, 8,300, 8,700, 7,600, 8,800, 8,000. So some very low owned options there if you're wanting to be different this week and go, because I think most people are going to try to pay it for the running back, which you can't do all of it, right? And so I think he could be a good play. Hopkins, lots of targets, a good floor, probably a good cash play as well. Paying up for him, I don't know in cash, but you do get a lot for him. I like Cooper. I already talked about that. 6,500. You can put him in. I could play him naked, meaning just put him in the player pool, or I could play him in some correlated mini stacks, Mosert's Cooper type deal, or I could play him in a stack. Go Brissett, Cooper, Peoples-Jones, run it back with Waddle or something like that. Waddle and Mosert's, Waddle and Hill if you want to do that. I like all those kind of combinations. That's what I did last week. I had Fields. I didn't have Kmet, which I'm kind of kicking myself for, but I had Fields, Mooney, and I ran it back. I don't remember if I had another piece, but Fields, Mooney, ran it back with Waddle, Hill as a little 4-man stack. So I don't mind Cooper there. Can get him in a different way. CeeDee Lamb I like this week. I think Dallas wins that game. But I do think they'll have to pass, and I think Green Bay can be passed on. So I like him at $7,000. I got him around 6-7%, low owned. I don't need a big stack or anything out of that. Could do a mini correlated between that and maybe one of the Green Bay pass catchers, or more importantly, probably the running back, whichever one you think will go. Jones is a little banged up, so maybe Dillon gets a good run. You go Lamb, Dillon, something like that. Some value plays, I like Juju. Got him still low owned. It seems like most people just want to go to Kelsey and then maybe throw in some flyers on Juju, Hardman, stuff like that. But he rates out 7th best wide receiver for me this week. Got him around 3 or 4% right now. $6,000. I'll take him. Could do some mini stacks there with some Jacksonville guys. Juju, Etienne could be a 2-man if you don't want to go full on with like paying up for Mahomes or something like that. Mooney, I'll go back to him with Fields. Already talked about that. $5,500 is a good price. Up a little bit, so maybe it keeps some people off, but man, Detroit secondary is not great. So you got to think someone has a good day on the pass catching side. Gallup's the guy I don't mind in that Dallas game either. Pay down option saves you some money if you paid up elsewhere. 7-8%, $4,900. He's one I like. Diggs, I would play him in stacks with Keenum, but I don't know. I definitely don't like him if Allen plays in general. I just don't want to pay up for him at $8,300 when I have other options. Now, Keenum makes it affordable because he's cheap if he's the one that starts, so I don't mind going to Diggs there. Otherwise, I'll be off Diggs this week as my fade. Tight end play, Kelsey, I'm treating like a wide receiver like I did many times last year. He's $7,800. I don't mind him. He's going to be a 9 or 10% owned tight end, but if you're playing him, you could play double tight end this week because if you're playing him, I'm treating him like a wide receiver 1, paying $7,800 for him. Go double stack with Schultz, Njoku, someone like that. Like Hawkinson, we saw and we heard Kirk Cousins on Monday night when he was on with the Mannings say how much he looks forward to having him around and already contributed. So $5,300, a middle ground if you don't want to go cheap, but you don't want to pay all the way up to Kelsey. Values, I just mentioned like Njoku, $4,100, Schultz, $3,800. Dolchik, if you want to go there, he's probably going to be pretty popular at $3,400, but does give you good savings. My fade this week will be Higbee. I just don't like much about the Rams in general, so he's the 4th highest owned for me right now. I like all those other guys much better than Higbee right now. Defense, I like Broncos if Tannehill plays. Because Malik, I don't know. They just run the ball so much. So it's not really optimal for a defense to get a lot of turnovers, pick sixes, stuff like that. It looks like Tannehill's going to play. What I looked last night, I think he got a full practice yesterday. If he does, I like the Broncos D at 3,000. I like the Giants D at 3,900 at home. Even better if you want to pay up. Talked about that. Well, I didn't talk about it with you guys. Didn't do the pod, but one of my favorite pay ups last week was the Patriots at $4,100. They went off. Same situation here. I like the Giants at home against Houston. Don't mind paying up for it. I don't think many people will do that because they're paying up everywhere else this week. The running backs are priced up. We don't have the $5,600 and $6,300 mixing to go to, so that could be a way to get different. I do like Steelers as a value. If J.J. Watt's or T.J. Watt's back, so if Watt's back, I do like him. It sounds like he's going to be, and I don't mind playing him against. If you want to go Dalton, I'm not going Dalton in fantasy this week, but I like Olave. But I don't mind having Steelers D in the lineup with Olave. It doesn't bother me at all. $2,800, good savings. I think a lot of people are going to go Minnesota, depending on what happens there. They're $2,200, super cheap. Packers even at home against Dallas, which I don't hate that. Cardinals look to be popular just because they give up so many sacks. The Rams do at $2,700. But my favorite right now would be Steelers, especially with TJ Watt back at home, if that's the way it goes. Some gut feel plays I like. I mentioned a few of these earlier. I like A.J. Dillon this week. Watch Jones. I think even if he plays, I think they're going to try to get Dillon involved a lot more in that game because Jones is banged up, right? We saw him get hurt last week. So I like A.J. Dillon this week. I think he could have a good upside game. I like Tony Pollard. Zeke, we'll see if he's back. If he's out, definitely. I mean, Pollard's a smash at $6,500, but he'll get a bunch of ownership. I still think he has a big game, even if Zeke is back in. So I don't mind going Pollard. I like Peoples-Jones. Mentioned that earlier. Good pay down. I think he's $4,300. And then George Pickens. I like him. It's probably all I'd play for Pittsburgh or their defense. But $5,000. He just, Kenny Pickett looks to him a lot. So I don't mind paying there as a gut feel play this week. Stacks I like. Easy to figure out at this point. I like the Mahomes stack. So if you want to go Mahomes, Juju, Hardman, Kelsey, mix and match there. I like Fields, Claypool, Mooney, Kmet. I'd probably limit that to only 2 of those guys because I just don't know if Fields will throw enough, even though Detroit's terrible, but they'll be able to run the ball as well, and he'll probably use his legs. But I could do 2 there because they're so cheap. And allows you to pay up at running backs and just take your chances. Go back to Cole Kmet, $3,400 with Mooney, $4,300, I think. Or no, Mooney was priced at $5,500. What was Claypool? $4,800. So pay down there, a good little mini stack. Run it back with whoever you want from Detroit. St. Brown will probably be the popular one, but maybe one of the running backs, and you just avoid that passing game. That could be a good run back option. Cheap. Let you build around those stacks. Some mini correlated ones I like. Derrick Henry and Sutton in that Tennessee game. I don't mind that. Jacobs and Pittman. I don't think many people are going to go to anything Indianapolis this week. But you got to think they're going to try to get Pittman involved. And the Raiders D can be had. We've seen that. They've given up, 3 or 4 17-point leads. So we're not high on Ellinger, but you could just get a little piece of that game. And I like Jacobs a lot, so you can go Jacobs, Pittman, Kamara, Pickens. You know, if you want to go I like Pickens in that game. You go Kamara, Pickens, Steelers D, just to be in there, something like that. I like Chubb and running it back with Waddle or Hill. I mentioned that earlier. And then I mentioned go A.J. Dillon. If you like Jones, go Jones and maybe run it back with Lamb or Gallup. I think those are good 2-man, 3-man correlated plays this week. My sneaky stack or kind of where outside the box would be going Brissett with Cooper or Jones, and then maybe Njoku at tight end. Little 3-man. Run it back however you want with Miami. I think in that game, let's see, out of 10 games, it's the 7th game ownership. So not a lot of people running there right now. So I think you could, but you're getting half the ownership, I think, going down to Brissett instead of Tua if you want to go there. So I kind of like that. Run it back with whoever you want from Miami. I think Mozart's even in play in a mini stack there. My favorite spreads this week, let's see, there we go. Bears minus 2.5. That is a minus 120, so it looks like it could move to 3. I already released that, actually, so there's a free play that I released. Then Giants minus 4, kind of watching that one, but I do like it. Upset of the week, there's not a lot of good. This counts as an upset because they're an underdog. I'm going to take the Steelers beat the Saints at home in Pittsburgh. Survivor, I think the easy ones are the Chiefs or Eagles. Probably have used Philly by now and most likely Chiefs. If you've used both of them, then maybe you look at, the Giants may be a good. It's not easy to swallow right now at this point. Maybe Raiders. I'd rather go Giants over Raiders, though. I don't trust the Raiders. And you got 49ers are a 7-point home favorite over the Chargers. So those could be little guys you still have available if you don't have the Eagles or Chiefs. Underdog, link is in the description. $1 for $1 match up to $100. Use the code GUP, G-U-P, to get that match. They got all kinds of the puppies up. They got showdown slates all the time. My pick 'em this week for there. These 3 I like. You can add to them, mix and match them however you want. I like Peoples-Jones over 44.5 yards, Mooney over 3.5 catches, and then CeeDee Lamb over 64.5 yards. So go hit those up. And then Prize Pick, same link in the description, same code and same offer, $1 for $1 match up to $100. Looking for Underdog to have some PGA stuff when we get to the new season. Prize Picks always going strong. People love that. 2 weeks ago, I went 5-0 on these. Saw several people in the Slack played them and hit them all. This week, I'm going to go Chubb over 84.5 rushing yards, Peoples-Jones over 43.5 receiving yards, Mooney over 43.5 receiving yards, Kelsey over 77.5 receiving yards, CeeDee Lamb over 64.5 receiving yards. So mix and match those 5. If you want to play all 5, maybe we go 5-0 again like we did 2 weeks ago. Again, Black 30, get you 30% off any package, locked in for life. You can upgrade and you still get that discount. So if you want to come try us out for a week, a month, add the tools later, whatever you want to do, you get 30% off for life. This will be good through the Monday after Thanksgiving. Includes a 7-day risk-free trial. Come give us a try now. Things are hot over at Gup's Corner. College Football Pod should be out. He's traveling. I think he's got a bachelor deal. I don't know if he's doing a pod for sure or not, but his content will be going. I'll be posting the UFC pod. I think Tommy's going to send it to me this morning. So I'll get this pod and that one posted this afternoon. We got tons of action this weekend. Come give us a try out if you're not already a member. Have a great weekend. Have a great Friday, and happy Veterans Day again. Thank you.